back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Red and White Chalkboard Podcast with me, the beautiful host Cormac, and your other beautiful host Taylor. Taylor, how are we?
I am I'm a tired man, Cormac. I'm a tired man.
Yep.
Just returned from Lyon, which we're going to get into later on in this podcast. But other than that, we're all is well in London. We have got a 3.5 day working week. We've got a bank holiday weekend up and coming. We've got some beautiful footballing fixtures up and coming, which we're going to discuss. And I think the best place we should start is Arsenal 3.
I completely forgot.
Real Madrid 0. Kick it off, Cormac. Hit us with it.
It's all I've been thinking out this last week. Genuinely, probably like the best Arsenal result I can remember in recent history. Wow. It's the best football I think that we've played in ever. Real Madrid weren't anything really, to be fair, which definitely helped. But, I mean, the main highlight we've got to talk about is Declan Rice. Like, two corking free kicks. I mean, when we did the preview last week, I didn't even mention him as like one of the star guys. You mentioned him afterwards and talking how he's going to be a big character, a big player in the game. And he fucking, like, I've never seen anything like it before. Two unbelievable free kicks. That second one especially. It could not have been more top corner. He couldn't have hit it any sweeter. Just unbelievable. We were so good, that second half especially. From back to front, everyone really put in a shift. I mean, there's nothing else really more to say than we're going to win the whole thing.
No, you guys completely outplayed Madrid in every aspect of the play. It was incredible to watch. I think the biggest shame for you guys is that you didn't win that 6-0.
We should have.
The amount of time, I think there was 2 times when Saka put the ball across the net, which no one was there to finish. I think there was a couple of Saka in swinging corners as well, which maybe should have been a goal. So obviously you won 3-0. 2 beautiful goals. And actually it's a shame because Mourinho's goal has kind of been forgotten.
I mean, Mourinho's goal was great as well.
It was a great goal.
It was a really nice finish again.
And, you know, that third goal, I think 2-0 from the 2 free kicks would have been an extraordinary result in itself, but that 3-0 is just that solid ground.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that might just be a bit too far for Real Madrid to dirty
the third goal was absolutely huge. I mean, they had moments in the first half, didn't they? That Mbappe effort one-on-one.
Yep.
He hit it straight at Raya. Vinicius got in once or twice. There was an early shaky moment from Kirill, who actually had a really good game in the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, he came back and really turned around.
That first moment in the first 5 minutes or so where he kind of completely missed the ball or whatever it was, I was just like, oh, God, this could be a long 90 minutes. But no, he was really solid. Saliba's just, oh, God. He's like, he's kind of gone, like, people haven't mentioned him quite as much about this game just because he is such a cool character. And, like, nothing ever looks difficult for him.
It's so true. I think what you guys did so well was you would have anticipated Real Madrid to really push after the first goal and even more after the second free kick. But you guys had total control from the minute you scored until the end of that match. It almost felt like the more you scored, the less Real Madrid were threatening and the more they were perhaps thinking return leg in the Bernabeu. But they looked really worried, and Jude Bellingham looked anonymous. Probably the most anonymous I've watched him in a Champions League game.
He couldn't get going at all, could he?
No, that midfield dominated him.
Yeah. Well, we didn't give any of them any time on the ball. No. Like, I mean, Rodrigo looked clueless. He really didn't do anything.
Very surprised by that.
Yeah, really surprised. Vinicius, again, he had a moment in the first half, but other than that, it was pretty tame. Mbappe as well. I mean, we just didn't allow anything in the midfield, especially. As soon as we lost the ball or anything, we were just on them like that.
You guys did so well. You must be so proud of your team.
Honestly, it's, like I said, if not the best result I can remember in recent history. Like, that performance from Rice and the rest of the team is going to will be going down in history.
Huge.
I mean, special shout out as well to Lewis Skelly, who I thought had a really good game again.
Who did he body block?
Was it? I know exactly who you're on about at that moment.
Was it Vinicius or someone like that?
I can't remember who it was now, but yeah.
That body block where he just sent him. I was strong, like, gosh, that kid. He's
so
built.
Strong.
He's built, and again, I thought
got the assist as well for the Marino goal.
Yeah, he had a fantastic. Every single guy on the team, even Martinelli did pretty well.
He had his moments. Yeah,
he had his moments. So I think it was one of those performances where everything came together. You had that slice. It's not. I say luck because the odds of scoring 2 world-beating free kicks in the same game against, arguably. No, I mean, I think he is the best goalkeeper of our generation.
Probably, yeah.
You guys have just smashed them, and it just pumps something completely new in terms of faith into it, doesn't it? All of a sudden, because we were going into this, obviously we predicted Arsenal to win this.
Yeah, I said 1-0, you said 2-1.
Yeah, but all of a sudden the belief is not just can you get past Real Madrid, it's like actually how far can you guys get in this campaign? And I think based on how the Premier League's gone for you guys, it's a real fantastic thing to hang your hope on.
Oh yeah, well I mean obviously Champions League. Let's all calm down. But to win the Champions League would be, one of the biggest things that's ever happened to Arsenal because we've just never had any success in Europe. But all of a sudden, a season where you've got Gary Neville saying, "Oh, they've regressed," or Jamie Carragher saying, "Oh, I think they're crap," and everything. All of a sudden, we've won the Champions League and finished second in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's pretty good going.
That's
that
not bad at all.
consistency's there in the league, and to put it all together that's it, isn't it? You beat Real Madrid, and the whole tune of it changes. And that if you can beat them with their fantastic superstars, who can't you beat?
Yeah.
And I would be worried if you would have faced PSG in the next round, but just I think the mental hurdle of beating a super team like that. So I think the last few years, obviously, you've come a cropper against your Bayern Munich, and so I think to get past the Real Madrid, them having won the Champions League last year, I think it would just really set you up for something maybe really special in the competition.
This all being said, obviously, so going into Wednesday now, it is 3-0. I am still nervous.
The one thing you don't need at all is
first 10 minutes.
Goal in the first 15 minutes from Real Madrid, because then you really have to batten down the hatches and just hold out till the half time. But the way you guys played, it's a whole different game at the Bernabeu. Of course it is, and the way that the media in Spain are prepping for this and feeding out information such as the team are really together and they're going to really pull together for this one particular. Their season is almost, even though they've still got the Copa del Rey to play and they're still contending in the league, the Champions League is their creme de la creme, and they love that competition so much. So I think you're obviously going to see a better Madrid. But if Arsenal can keep that level of performance, I think your boys are going to be really up for it as well.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to be confident.
Yes,
because we did just completely outplay them. It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah,
we were the better team, and like I said, we probably could have had 5 or 6 goals provided. If we had a striker, team all the time. But if we did have a striker and Saka played those balls across, or from a corner.
Well, actually, I think it's really important that we touch on the return of Saka for that game because he was fantastic.
He was great.
He didn't get the goal that I thought he would get.
We both said for him to score. Funny enough,
his performance alone, I thought, was worth a goal. He just has so much quality on the ball. He is such a fantastic winger.
Yeah.
And I don't know how people can watch that performance from him and how he's been since he's been back. Obviously, scored in return.
Yep.
And be doubtful about how good that guy is.
He is world class. Yeah.
He's awesome. In a game like that, he was one of the top 3 best players on the pitch.
Absolutely.
On a pitch which had Mbappe, your Bellingham.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Rice, he was man of the match for me.
Yeah, 100%.
He's just a game changer. He's like, you see the interview clip from a few days before the first game where that journalist was like, "Oh, how close do you think you are to your Rodriguez, to your Vinicius?" And he was just like, "What do you mean?"
He's an output monster, isn't he?
He's there.
I love players where their primary thought is goal or assist.
Yeah, every time.
How can I get the shot or how can I put the ball in? And that's it. And he created so many opportunities for the team. And they didn't really take them.
No.
But what's to say he doesn't do exactly the same on Wednesdays?
He's just so good.
Yeah, and congrats to you guys, man.
No, I appreciate it. I think, just really quick finish on Saka there, I almost think like he is somehow, to me, still underrated.
Same. 100% agree.
Comes from a completely biased place, but I don't care. I just think he is that good.
100%
and he
agree.
Is, if it's not for Salah, he's the best winger in the league.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Definitely
100%
definitely
agree.
right winger.
His numbers have just gotten better year in, year out. He posted Marcus Rashford best numbers like 2 seasons ago when he was 20. He'll be in the league for so long and he'll put up such good numbers. And I agree, I think he's completely underrated. A performance like that goes a long way to changing the tune of people's minds.
Absolutely.
But if he can pull a similar performance out of the Bernabeu, it's a way to get international recognition as well. And credit to him, credit to your team. I thought that was a fantastic performance.
I think we were just that good. Like we were just, like I said, so proud, so happy. But I'm still nervous. Because Real Madrid can just do anything.
Yeah.
If that's paying the ref, maybe that's paying the ref.
I saw a wonderful video on Twitter. It's like the Bernabeu next week, and it's all these like natural disasters, like the pitch tilting upside down and the ball doing some wizardry. Who knows what can happen?
I know.
It's just that's the team that they have been. So that's always living in everyone's mind. But I do think you guys had just such a good first leg. I'd be very surprised if you can do it again in the second leg.
Yeah,
but we'll touch on the predictions for that one.
We'll do predictions in
a bit when we touch on the other games.
But now we'll move on to the other red and white chalkboard team game, which was the Lyon Man United game. which Taylor had the pleasure of going to
I did.
in Lyon. So how was your trip? And then how was the football and everything around it?
I think everyone loves the idea of an away game, and it is the most traumatic 3 days you will have as a football fan. Me and my friend, we flew out on the Thursday morning at 4 o'clock, and we managed to get home after the game at 3 in the morning. So overall, it was a 24-hour day, but it was, as it goes, I thought it was a fantastic day up until the chaos of the organisation of getting to the game began. We all really struggled as a collective, as United away fans, to get to where we needed to get to collect wristbands. That's the first time I've had to do that in an away day setting. Yeah. And it didn't help that the check-in point was outside of the city by 10 kilometers at a small airport. So the one metro line that took all the United fans out there actually broke down. So there was no way to get there. I mean, me and my friend, we took a €50 Uber to get there, but then they started putting on special buses for the United fans. So we got there at the collection point at probably roughly around 7:30, so an hour and a half local time before kickoff. We got our wristbands. It took about 30 minutes to get that. We got on a bus to the stadium. And to be honest, that's when it all started, chilled out a little bit. It was all right. They were selling beer outside, which was quite nice, and it was all sunny. And then we managed to get through. There was no problems there. And they were selling beer inside the stadium, which is a first. And, I understand why they don't sell beer after being somewhere now where they do sell beer. I always complain saying, why don't they give the away fans any beer? But actually, no, I completely get it now. And then I'll touch on the game now. So obviously, game starts, and oh my gosh, I thought United actually started fine.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it's really important to actually just touch on the preamble that led to this game and the narrative that they created.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's one big character which really stands out from this game.
Yes, sadly, Manchester United's number one goalkeeper felt the need to open his mouth during an interview. And I will caveat this with saying that English is his third or fourth language. He does speak 6 languages, right, and it's his third or fourth language. So sometimes you can say something. I know this myself when I speak Spanish. You're saying something maybe not 100% knowing what you're saying. The tone of it. And he came out in an interview basically just describing that we are so much better than Lyon. I think if he'd have just said we are better, but I think the emphasis on being so much better than Lyon really triggered a nerve in that fan base. And then we had Nemanja Matic, ex-Manchester United player, responding to Onana's comments saying, well, I don't know how he can come out and say that when he's the worst goalkeeper to ever play for Manchester United.
Brutal response, by the way.
He is. I was listening to another podcast, another Manchester United podcast, and
hang on, this isn't a Manchester United.
No, well, another podcast which talks about Manchester United, and he was saying you can tell he's almost a disciple of Jose Mourinho, and the tactics that he employed to respond to those comments was very Mourinho-esque by just absolutely ruining him,
shitting on him,
almost saying it as it is. But anyone who had an inch of politeness about them maybe wouldn't go that far.
He blew it up more, didn't he?
He blew it up more, and he basically just said, "You're the worst goal." I don't know how you can say that. You're the worst goalkeeper to ever play for Manchester United. So that narrative was set. All the Lyon fans, from the first minute that game kickstarted, every time Onana touched the ball, it was a deafening sound of just boos in the stadium,
boos and the whistles,
and you could tell they hated him, and it was just this cacophony of noise every time he touched the ball. And I turned to my mate and I said, I don't think he's got the minerals to deal with this. And then it showed, because about 17 minutes in swinging free kick, and he's done what I've seen too many times in European games where he's just let the ball go past him from an in-swinging free kick. And it's the most frustrating thing ever to watch, because just don't do that. And it immediately gave the Lyon fans what they wanted. They all went crazy. Yeah. All the United fans are all of a sudden like, this guy's done it again. He's done it again. So we're 1-0 down, and it was a horrible way to start the game, and it completely set the tone. And then Manchester United were, able to respond just before halftime. It was a Nugate shot, which Lenny Yara managed to direct.
Really nice header, actually. He did really well to control.
Shout out to Yara. I think he's had a really good string of games recently, and I really think he's starting to show some of the characteristics which Manchester United were expecting to see once he kind of got some games under his belt. And I think he's really, first game back in France since he joined United, and I think that goal was really strong, and that's completely almost went whistle blew immediately after that goal. So 1-1 going into halftime. Fantastic. Our fans are happy. We're all drinking beer on the concourse, getting more drunk, and everything's okay. So then second half begins, and not really much. I think the game both. What was really annoying me about Manchester United is that Lyon were able to get the ball with so much space in midfield constantly all the time. So you kept seeing Lyon being able to essentially hit the counter attacks. They got the ball into midfield and there was no one surrounding them. So they were able to drive with the ball and just kind of fashion a chance of some sort. But United were resilient and they did well, and it was 1-1 until roughly the 88th minute, I want to say, to which then Bruno Fernandes put in an absolutely delightful ball, by the way, for our man Joshua Zirkzee to header in and just send us all absolutely crazy. Mental. Shout out to my friend Herb for blinding me. He had a full beer, turned to me and swilled me. So I saw the goal and then I didn't see anything for about 3 minutes. And the away end was going crazy. We were all up on the railings and going absolutely berserk. And it felt like we just witnessed like a classic, not smash and grab, but a classic United 2-1 away win in Europe. It was huge. We needed that because it was going to set a beautiful tone for the home match. And then what I would just say disaster struck in the 94th minute. One of the Lyon players took a pop shot from just outside the box, and Onana had just, the way I'm going to put it is, he essentially struck again in the worst way possible, parried the ball. But if you're going to parry the ball, you have to just parry the ball to anywhere but exactly where you did it. And Ryan Cherky, who I actually thought also had a very good game, very tiny.
You mentioned him last week about kind of being just this raw talent.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what he is.
And it's the type of goal where someone who's on the top of their game, he's first to it, he's first to react, and he puts it in. 2-2, final whistle immediately after that. And we're all just sat there like, we hate Andre Onana. And it's a shame because I'm not one to bash a United player. I will back them. And, you really should back them until the end. But I've now sadly seen the goalkeeper give away too many goals in really important European games. And that's really where you're paid to make it.
Well, that feels like it now, doesn't it? Because on the back of that, obviously, he wasn't with the squad on the weekend against Newcastle, which we'll come on to again in a bit.
Well, I actually think he's going to start against Lyon. I do think
he should.
He will start, because I think the reason he'll start is, and this is the double-edged sword of United the business and United the football team, he will start because he is Manchester United's best goalkeeper, because he gets paid the most money to be Manchester United's best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Therefore, he will start. And as we saw with Bayern coming into the weekend, he didn't look capable enough.
No.
But the fear is that he actually might have the capacity to take us out of this competition again, like he did in Champions League, completely. And from a business perspective, we can't afford for this to happen. We need to progress, and we need to get to the final and win this competition. Sadly, his bozo gene is just cruising through at lightning speed. And it was just such a devastating way to end. And I'll just quickly touch on the whole exit of the stadium. So,
go on.
French police obviously hate English people, and this seemed like a great opportunity for them to take their anger out on us. They, everyone, obviously there was lots of people who had lots of beer, which probably didn't help, but I'd say 85, the majority of Manchester United fans in that away end were sitting calmly and just waiting to be told when to leave.
Yeah.
Me and my friend, we popped to the bathroom, and then we returned, and then some kind of melee had began in between, and they started throwing people around. They chucked tear gas.
Fucking hell.
Me and my friend, we got essentially manhandled, and we were just, they were running towards us with their riot shields and their batons, and they were grabbing us. And I was just saying, look, tell me where to go. I will just go there happily.
Is that why you're wearing a cardigan today?
Yeah, that's it. I was like, come on.
We gotta go. There's a cardigan.
I don't need to be blammo padded. I am absolutely fine just to be told where to be. But the whole thing was a bit of a disaster then. And then we all got shipped out back to the airport, and there was a metro every 30 minutes to ship us back into the beginning of the city. So not even where anyone needed to be. And it was, we all got home at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And from an organizational point of view, it's horrible how, I'm sure this probably happens to other clubs when they go away in Europe.
Yeah, it's all the same.
I can only speak from my experiences. It's horrible how you are treated like subhuman when you go away on these away days, because they just almost expect the worst for you. And I've never been to an away day where, fans are doing anything really that bad. Obviously, the small might ruin it for the majority, but it's often the case that it's...
Well, that's the thing. Playing devil's advocate here, I mean, I've got no sympathy for the French police because, I mean, based off, like, remember the Champions League final?
Yeah, of course.
Like, it was the same thing. Liverpool fans were just getting
pelted. Yeah, exactly.
For no reason. So there's been a lot of cases of this, but
and it's such a shame because it puts me. The more this happens, that's my 9th away match now, and most of the time it's not been. We haven't been tear gassed before,
no.
But it's a very similar trend of just you're treated
it's all
dreadfully.
Stereotypes, though, isn't it, with the France?
Yeah,
they're kind of known for being
so. Like my patience with running is running thin with the whole getting absolutely battered every time I don't want to watch a game of football in Europe. So that's a bit of a shame. But outside of that, I think everyone would have been happier to just sit and wait had we won 2-1.
Yeah.
I think everyone was just extremely frustrated with how the game had gone and how Onana had made this huge thing of it. And he was obviously goading the fans before kickoff as well. And it's just like, bro, at least if you're going to do that, talk the talk, don't just walk the walk. So overall, fine game. And we'll talk about the second leg in a bit afterwards when we do our predictions. But I don't think it's the worst result. But it could have been a much better result had...
I think so. I think if I was a United fan, I would have, honestly, going into the game, I would have bitten your hand off at 2. I'd actually, by the way, a quick shout out to myself.
Quick shout out, yeah.
I did say 2-2 before the game.
You did.
In the last episode even. But no, I think that's a fine result. I mean, I wasn't impressed by Lyon. I thought they were very meh.
They look slow.
They look really slow.
Yeah.
Special mention to Lacazette, who came on and did a Lacazette thing.
Lack of threat, man. It's brilliant.
Just nothing's changed. He had 2 kind of half chances.
There was that one where he just sliced it, where it looked like it was going in right until you realised, no, he sliced it near the corner.
There was another one as well, which I can't quite remember now.
But yeah, I think Lyon looked okay.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting. It's just you don't know what you're going to get with this Manchester United team, do you?
No.
Obviously, beneficial that the second leg's at Old Trafford and we have an opportunity, but
speaking about must-win games, that's going to be
it's humongous, isn't it? For everything that the club has planned, I imagine they have 2 sheets of paper. If we finish 16th and no European football, what can we do? And
it's rough.
It looks like we'll probably sign Sean Longstaff or someone big up,
baller,
or where we finish 16th and we have Champions League football. God, I hate this club.
I know. It's mixed bag.
Yeah.
But I mean, quick question. I want to touch on Xerxes actually really quick, because I've seen, especially over the last few days, him getting a lot more kind of plaudits for him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you rate him, or is the Man United striking situation so bad that he just looks good?
I think as time's gone on, he's one of those who's actually took the original criticism that was thrown at him and responded well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it very much looked... The last time we played Newcastle, that's the game where he got booed at Old Trafford. And I think, and I think United fans took a hard look at themselves after that game and changed their tune, and the Stretford end got behind him, and that gave him the confidence to almost feel a bit more settled in the shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been extraordinary, but if you actually look at Europe this season, he scored really important goals against Real Sociedad.
Yep.
He obviously scored the very important goal against Lyon. He obviously did very well against... he scored the winning penalty against Arsenal in the FA Cup.
Yep.
He's not been prolific.
He's had moments though.
But he's had important moments, which goes to what I was saying. That I think as time's going on, we're realising his position is not as that lone striker. It probably never... I never thought he was going to be a player that could score 20 Premier League goals.
He's not a 9, is he? That's the thing.
But he could very easily feel quite at home in one of those 10s where he's able to link up the play. I think he's very good at linking up the play.
His kind of one-touch moves are really smart. I think he's very good on the ball.
Yeah.
He kind of, like you said, he does float in that kind of half space behind the striker.
He's got a really unique skill set. He's a big guy, but he's really good with the ball.
Technically really good.
Technically really gifted, so he treats it very well. And I think for a first season, I think players always struggle to adapt.
Yeah.
Before he was at Bologna, he was at Anderlecht.
Yeah.
He was, and then he was
steep climb.
Yeah, he was at Bayern Munich in the youth, and then went to Anderlecht, and then went to Bologna, and then now he's found himself in Manchester United. The adaptation to get used to that is humongous. Yeah. So I think as our first season goes, I think Amarin obviously likes him. A huge shame about the hamstring. that he pulled up with yesterday. So, it's really hard to say if he's going to be playing much of a part now for the rest of the season, because there's only a month left of the season, and you'd probably anticipate a hamstring pulling up for about a month.
That's at least a month, really.
So it'll be a shame if that's how his season ends, because I think he was having a really strong end to the season. So, but again, I think going into next season, things might be a bit different for him.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting with him, but I don't mind him, and I love the fact that I can call him Joshua Zirksword.
I mean, he's just, he's better than anything else you got at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
No shade for him.
100%.
Yeah, all right. Well, should we finish this bit off the European bit with do some predictions of the next legs in both Champions League and Europa League?
Let's do it.
Just pull up the results really quick.
Yes. Can you hold my mic?
Yeah. So, like I said, we did some predictions last week for the first legs, and we'll just do brand new ones for this. But should we start with... we didn't really run through the games as well. We can have a quick run through the other results, mainly from the Champions League.
Yeah, we'll touch on the results as we do the predictions.
Yeah.
And then, so do you want to start off? We'll start with Dortmund-Barcelona, because that's the...
kind of the easiest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we both said it last week. We both said that Barcelona were just going to stomp Dortmund.
Yeah, and they did.
And they did 4-0. No dramas.
Fantastic attack. One of the better teams in the world. This Barcelona team is fantastic. Really annoying, so I don't think they deserve it.
Nope.
But they've got it. They've obviously got a fantastic coach in... they've got a fantastic coach in Hansi Flick. He's managed to get fantastic tune out some of these players who maybe didn't look like they were on it. Rafinha has obviously turned into a wonderful player. Frankie de Jong has come back from the darkness to actually perform admirably, and they're making the absolute most, and having the attack that they have is really something actually interesting to know. Although I don't think it'll make a difference for this game, is I believe their left back Alejandro Balde has picked up an injury of some sort, which is going to rule him out for this second leg, of course. But whether that takes him out of the next semi-final, we'll have to wait and see. But prediction for that one.
This is obviously at Dortmund. I'm going to say 3-1 Barca.
Well, are you? Okay. I'm going to go for a 2-2.
2-2. All right, nice. So Barcelona still going through into the next round pretty comfortably. All right, then next one, Villa PSG. So last week finished 3-1 in the end. You said 4-1. I said 2-1. So as a podcast, we got that bang on.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was exactly what we thought, wasn't it? It was all PSG. They just look so fluid. That front three as well.
Said it, man. This is a good team, and really I just thought they won that game from just 3 moments of fantastic football. Aston Villa had a few chances. Obviously,
it's a shame they ended up getting. Was it
90-something minute?
93rd minute. Chris Gallagher scored. Was he scored the third one? Yeah, because
Nuno Mendes. Yeah,
Mendes. Sorry, yeah. Because if they walked away with 2-1, they would have gone. All right, here we go.
I would have looked at it slightly differently.
Yeah, exactly. But 3-1 is a bit more tricky. You never know. But PSG were a much better team. It was a really nice goal by Villa as well. Rogers just on the counter.
It was
really, really smartly played.
See him hit the Thierry Henry corner flag celebration.
Well. I like that. I really like Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, it was just a bit auralous.
Doing it in a Villa shirt, it's a little bit different. Yeah, I mean, Champions League quarterfinals, good on him. I really like Morgan Rogers. We both do.
Yeah.
But yeah, PSG just, again, the much better team. Absolutely dominated the ball, especially that kind of first 45 minutes.
I want to shout out Prince William.
Oh, yeah. I watched all the preamble for the game of him there. He's really...
Oh, my gosh. Get him on.
That's what I've been... Can we get him on the pod? Like, I've got no real... not to get political, I've got no strong feelings about the Royals, whatever. No, but he came across so well and so knowledgeable. Obviously, he's very media trained and what have you. But he knew everything. He's obviously a big football fan.
I didn't realise how much of a big football fan he obviously is. You've obviously seen him in lots of Villa games, but to be able to... it's just the funniest thing ever to watch him and Rio Ferdinand.
What Rio Ferdinand said as well.
Yeah.
He was like, you need to shut up, otherwise I'm going to lose my job.
But Rio Ferdinand... I don't think he's the best pundit at all.
No,
putting him, I don't mind.
I don't mind Rio Ferdinand. He gets a hard time online.
But also, just putting him next to someone who's just never even done that before ever, and he just looked a million times better. That was a bit embarrassing. Yeah, but I thought that was really fun from him. I
really enjoyed it.
And I thought Ali McCoy did really well interviewing him and everything, because we love Ali McCoy, man. Top man.
He's just the best.
So I thought that was really cool. But I think for this one, if Villa score first, and I'm talking in the first 10 minutes, Villa Park will smash off It will be crazy.
And it's a young team as well at PSG, so it'll be interesting to see how they can. I mean, they are obviously some of the best players. Still
But I just think that PSG just have too much style quality. I think I'm probably going to go for 2-1 PSG.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay, so still PSG.
Yeah, because I kind of last
Okay.
week I hyped up a little bit
Yeah.
Villa and was kind of talking about how they're going to.
It's the British bias, man. I say it. It's the British
I just really
bias.
like this Villa team.
I like this Villa team too, but I do think this PSG team could win it.
Yeah, I think that's not an outrageous take at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then, should we do
Inter Bayern?
Inter Bayern, yeah. So last week you said Bayern. You said Inter. I said Bayern. We didn't do any scores on that one because we're silly.
No, I know. I thought about that. Yeah,
classic smash and grab. Not even smash and grab. Just
I think Inter were better.
They just clinical. That first Martinez goal as well. The finish.
That is.
It kind of flicks it round.
Done that on FIFA. That was awesome. that was you love to see goals like that. I
didn't watch the game obviously because I was watching the Arsenal game, but it was funny. I was at the pub with my mates. We were watching it, and we saw the result of that, and we were like, "Oh my god! Can you imagine the absolute diabolical tactics which are going through right now?"
Oh gosh,
absolutely. They got 1-0 up at the Allianz.
Yeah.
But then obviously, Bayern got back into it, maybe 1-1, and then straight away turned around, finished 2-1 Inter.
Yeah. Awesome. I like this Inter team. Like I said, I wasn't sure last week if Lautaro Martinez is going to play or not, and I thought if he did play, that could probably make the difference. He's obviously come in, he's scored.
Yeah.
I say, like I mentioned, Bayern have lost their best some of their best players in Alphonso Davies and Jamal Musiala to their respective very bad serious injuries. So taking them two out, all of a sudden you've just got Elise. I think is a bit of a unicorn. He's obviously very good, but Muller and Kane both very good in their respective.
He's leaving in the season now, isn't he?
He is. It's been confirmed.
End of an era, then.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just think it's a bit slow. I think Inter have fantastic defense, great midfield, awesome attack. I love that they have the two strikers with Thuram and Martinez. I would love Manchester United play with two strikers. Firstly, we need to have a striker.
4-4-2.
Yeah, we just need a striker, let alone having two of them to play up top. But yeah, I think Inter at home. I'm going to go for a 2-2 on this one. But
2-2, damn, okay.
Yeah, but then Inter to go through.
Yeah, that would be okay. Nice. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna do similar. I'm just gonna say 1-1. I think.
Nah, man, pick a team.
Okay, 2-1 Bayern.
Oh,
there you go. Extra time
penalties.
Inter win on penalties.
Ooh, I like it.
Ballsy that one. And then finally, the main event: Arsenal versus Madrid. We've already touched on the game and how nervous I am.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Madrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm gonna stick with what I said last week.
Okay.
I'm saying 0-0.
Okay. Interesting.
I just think.
Are we looking at an absolute Arteta masterclass here?
Oh God, it's gonna be 11 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
It's gonna be absolutely terrifying to watch this because, like you said, if they get a goal in the first 10 minutes,
yeah.
We're gonna
also, shout outs to some interesting team news that Thomas Partey has unspecified injury and can't probably travel to the game. Yeah. Saw that.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
God, it's just horrible. I get that.
But also, I'm very much looking forward to. I saw on Twitter, it's very funny, David Raya going down in the first 10 minutes of an injury.
Calling on the physio.
I think we're going to see a lot of that, a lot of time wasting. I think this has the potential for Arsenal to make it a really awful game, which is exactly what you want.
That's all we want. The more time we fell on the floor, the more I celebrate, honestly.
You've had your dream day.
Madrid have done the worst of it all.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. But yeah, all right, I'm saying 0-0, you're saying 2-1
yes.
Madrid.
Let's do it.
Okay, nice. And then should we touch on the other Europa League games?
Oh, okay. Let's just touch on United and then Tottenham.
What are your predictions for United?
I'm going to go for a 3-1 United.
3-1 United, okay. I'm going to go, oh God. Thing is, you're not going to concede, are you?
No, we 100% are going to concede.
God.
And Lyon will score first.
Yeah. You know what? 1-1. Extra time. United score in extra time.
Okay.
2-1 after extra time.
If we lose, this is the last time you're going to see me on this podcast.
It's going to be a solo pod.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to bring in new guests every week. Me and Prince William, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Spurs Frankfurt, so that finished 1-1 in the end.
Yeah.
You called it?
Thank you
very
much.
You said that one last week?
Thank you very much. I now think Spurs are going to go out. I think awful, Frankfurt at home, massive game for them. Their fans are going to be so up for it. They have fantastic fans over in Frankfurt. they love these big European nights. I don't think this Spurs team has the minerals. I don't think their manager has the minerals. I don't think they've got it in them.
They just so low as well.
Gosh, I mean, I know how dreadful we were against Newcastle. We'll talk about it, but how bad were they against Wolves? I watched the game. They were so bad, and they were the architects of their own downfall time and time again. And Frankfurt do have some really dangerous players. Hugo Ekitike.
Mm-hmm.
Did he score against Tottenham?
Can't remember.
Did he? Was it a really good goal from outside of the box into the bottom corner?
I'm not sure I've seen it.
Let me fact check.
Right.
But I just don't think they're going to do it, and I think I'm going to say Frankfurt 3, Tottenham 1.
Damn, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Spurs are just toothless at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think if this happens, Ange is just gone. I don't even know if they'll wait to the end of the season because I think it's pretty much confirmed anyway that he's going. Was it? It was
Hugo Ekitike.
Yeah. I agree. I'm saying 2-0 Frankfurt.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure Spurs.
Tough time to be a Spurs fan at the minute, and that's coming from a Man U fan.
Yeah, he's got a nice stadium though.
Yeah,
so you can't.
Credit to you guys for being consistently just a little bit worse than us every time. So
somehow
I respect your hustle.
I saw a funny tweet actually. It was an Everton fan being like, "You told me at the beginning of the season we were 5-point clears of Spurs and United." I thought we were top 4, but no, you're then 12th, and that's how bad Spurs are.
Shout out Everton, by the way, on that note, and that since Moyes has taken charge, they've gained, I think it was 21 points. If the season had started when he'd been on charge and they'd replicated that, they'd be on like 63 points and be fighting for Europe. They'd be 6th or 7th. And God, David Moyes, bring him back. I can't believe it.
Get him back at United. Quickly, the other games: Bodo Glimt versus Lazio was 2-0.
Bit of a shock.
We both got that one wrong.
Yeah, both in the Arctic Circle. Both in the Arctic Circle. Sorry. Do you see the game? They had snow behind the goals. I thought that was awesome.
Looks just
maybe the Lazio players were just a bit freaked out by the whole scenario of it's mid-April and it's snowing here. But I think Bodo are good. They've had a very solid campaign.
They've done really well.
They've obviously got some good players. Lazio had been top of the group or the league phase originally, and they've obviously had a good campaign and they're one of the favourites. So I think Bodo to get that result was huge for them. If they can get through,
it'd be awesome.
It'd be so funny if Tottenham don't get through and they could have played Bodo Glimt to get to the final.
Oh God, yeah. Frankfurt.
And if for whatever reason Manchester United do get through, we have to play Bodo Glimt and we lose to Bodo Glimt.
Oh God, that would be amazing. We have to watch that game.
Yeah. So
prediction on this one. Go for it. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go for a 1-1.
1-1. Or I'm going to go 1-0 Lazio for this one, and then both go for Bodo Glimt. And then finally, Rangers, Atletico Bilbao.
Yeah, really interesting first leg result, actually. 0-0. Rangers had a man sent off really early.
That's it. They did a whole
Bilbao
lot.
missed a penalty.
Yeah.
So my hopes of a Glaswegian away day still remain in the...
Well, it could be, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, both games.
It's going to be really tough for Rangers to go to Bilbao and get a result there. But Rangers have been fairly decent in Europe the last few years, and who's to say they can't do it? If they were to do it, I think that'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Get the Spanish club out. Come have a battle of the Britain for the semis for a place in the final against Lyon, and make it a bit interesting. So I'm going to be sensible here. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Bilbao.
Okay, I'm going to be not very sensible. I'm going to say 2-1 Rangers.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, make things interesting.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Then should we move on to the Premier League games over the weekend?
Touch on it.
We'll do that quickly. Not too much to say, really. I mean, Arsenal drew 1-1 with Brentford. Who really cares? Mm-hmm. We were resting so many of our guys. Probably should have beaten them anyway. We had the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's all much I really want to say on that, to be honest. I spoke about Arsenal enough. But the other ones, top 4 games, I'm just trying to think now off the top of my head. City, Palace was an interesting one.
Yeah,
started really hot. Palace and City looked awful, and then De Bruyne just decided to lock the fuck in.
He did, didn't he?
Played some of his best football he played all year.
Fair play. City look like they've hit a good vein of form.
Yeah,
but also it's good for the league because it isn't. All it's probably going to do is stop Chelsea getting Champions League, which
it's all we want.
I can deal with City getting Champions League because they're going to get relegated anyway next season. So, but Chelsea getting Champions League would just genuinely annoy me to my core. So, hoping for that City renaissance to keep going.
Yep. Shout
out Omar Marmoush because since he's moved to the Premier League, obviously huge fee, and he scored, I think it's six league goals. I think that's a very solid output, especially with Haaland out at the minute. It's showing that it's not the be all and end all.
Yeah, he's just looked really good, hasn't he?
He's looked very good, and it was quite a nice team. And they had Nico O'Reilly, who obviously looks quite. He's massive. He's like 6'4",
big boy.
James McAtee scored a good goal. See his backflip.
Yeah, what the hell did that come from?
That's crazy.
That's woke nonsense.
That's crazy.
Can't be doing backflip celebrations like that.
Yeah, that's insane. And then that's enough for City, I think.
Yeah.
Shout out Palace, though. I thought they started well.
They started really well, and then that Eze goal got ruled out for offside. Automated offsides actually have come in as well.
Yes, they did.
Thank God, we're about 3 years behind the rest of Europe.
Yeah, it's just less contentious, isn't it? Because you can see it as plain as day where it's gone offside, where it hasn't gone offside.
And it's just quicker, and it stops the fannying about the lines.
Exactly.
Like you said, I mean, other European leagues have this since last season, I think, didn't they?
Mm-hmm,
but then our referees, hate being good.
Well, like I say, a lot of people get paid a lot of money to make consistently bad decisions, and they have to justify it. So,
conspiracy. Yeah, you're right.
100%.
Yeah. And then
Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, I mean, Forest have been so good for so long. They were kind of always going to have a few results, I think, where they drop off. But great result for Everton, great result for Moyes. Bit concerning for Forest about kind of falling out of that top 5, but I still think they should be okay now. It's come on late enough.
They just need to probably get a result in every single one of their home games and pick up another one away from home, and they'll be all right. Yeah. So the way that they've been playing this season, I think they're just struggling now with that end of season lull. The pressure's really not starting to show, but I think the pressure, the magnitude of the situation, and probably how tired the players are, it's all maybe getting a bit exhausting for them. But I hope they get over the line. Shout out Everton and Abdoulaye Doucouré. Did you see his celebration?
Pointing at the back.
Well, he did the whole call me and I'll sign the contract.
Yeah, he's out of contract.
He's out of contract. And he stood in front of the away and they were all going absolutely nuts. And he's like, call me and I'll sign it. And I was like, that is so cool. I know. Love that.
That's funny because I was talking to, so when I went to the pub to watch the Arsenal game last week, one of the guys there was an Everton fan.
Oh, was it?
So I was talking to him about because they've got something like 11 players out of contract in the summer.
Calvert-Lewin as well. He's out of contract.
He's gone. But, I was like, what do you think about Doucouré? Because he scores goals like this all the time.
He's an underrated Premier League player.
See, he didn't rate him, funny enough.
Did he not?
He was like, it's time for him to go. He's a bit of a donkey. I think he has got that bozo gene, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's got the bozo gene, but he's obviously proven himself at Premier League level for Watford and for Everton.
It'll be interesting to see
if he'll get another move to a Premier League team.
Yeah, he's Premier League level still.
I wouldn't be surprised that if I was like a Nottingham Forest, for example.
Well, if I was a lesser team like Man United, for example, I think he would be great.
You know what to do, Sir Jim. Sign the boy up. He's going for free, and if we don't win the Europa League, that's all we're going to do anyway.
Yeah, free signings,
star signings.
Yeah, God.
So okay, good for them. And then we're going to move on to Southampton 0, Aston Villa 3.
Yeah, whatever.
Who cares?
Southampton a dog shit.
Yeah.
They are currently 2 points behind the worst ever tally that Derby had those years ago. So if they're going to pick up 2 points between now and the end of the season, who knows? But this could be literally the worst team we've ever seen in the Premier League.
And they've been that bad. Shout out Villa for post-Champions League being able to just get the job done.
Yeah, Watkins' goal, actually. Do you see Watkins' goal?
I actually haven't seen his goal. Good.
Awesome. Great ball. I think it was Tielemans played the ball over the top and then he just dinked in and went off the bar. It was really, really lovely goal.
Love that kind of goal. And it keeps them right in the race for Champions League as well. We need as many teams, Aston Villa, man, just shout them out. Champions League quarterfinals, FA Cup semi-finals, and they're pushing for they're done so well. Signed well in January as well. Credit to them. Okay, well, let's talk on Brighton 2, Leicester 2.
Yeah.
Brighton have fallen off a little bit.
I think they're just knackered.
I think if you speak to their fans, their big problem has been just letting the lesser teams.
That's it.
I think they've picked up 1 point out of from the teams from the bottom 6 teams or something, or maybe 6 points from the bottom 6 teams. And I almost guarantee both of them are probably wins against Manchester United. So I think this was Leicester's first away goal since December the 21st or something.
It was I can't remember how many games. They did say how many games it was. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it's something like that.
Yeah. Shout out Al Kanous. I really like Al Kanous.
I like Al Kanous as well.
So it'll be interesting. He'll definitely get a move to a Premier League team. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether a top 6 team takes a punt on him or whether those middle of the pack, your Palaces, your Brentfords.
They're going to want 25 million probably.
Once they get relegated, all the cards have just been stripped from them, especially because he looks like one of the few players who can actually stay.
He's a Premier League level player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So good for Leicester to get a point. Unlucky for Brighton. I guess that probably takes him out of the Champions League races now.
I think so. I think
They're
gone now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then we'll go on to Sunday's fixtures. We'll start with Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2.
Hilarious stuff. Just good to see Chelsea drop more points.
Yeah.
I hate everything they stand for currently,
100%.
and they've just been good my entire childhood, so I'll always resent them for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just good to see them losing.
Yeah, 100%. And
however, Sancho did get a goal. So
Sancho did get a goal, and I'll credit where credit is due. I'm not one to just be blindsided by my opinion entirely. It was a good goal.
It was a good goal.
But it was against Ipswich, so maybe he's found his level. And
send him down.
And then we'll touch on Wolverhampton 4, Tottenham 2.
Oh my God.
Going back to what I said earlier, Spurs are just rubbish.
Just
at
so
the minute.
flat. And
the 4 goals that Wolves scored were all pretty much... Wolves scored in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Aït-Nouri, it was a great goal, to be fair. But again, Vicario could have maybe done better with it. Jed Spence, own goal.
Mm-hmm.
4th goal from Cunha. He just robbed the ball off Bergvall in the middle of the park and ran through the team and scored. And again, I love that. He got there in front of the home fans and was just like, I love you. And me and my friend were laughing because he is from Wolverhampton, so he is, he doesn't mind Wolves. And we were just saying, can't wait for him to hit Instagram next week and be like, you guys suck again.
He's a right character, isn't he? I think is the way of putting it.
Bro is a loose cannon.
He is a very
He's a loose cannon, but he's also quite good at football. So.
Exactly, you kind of get away with it a little bit, especially in somewhere like Wolves, where he's the guy.
That's it. He can almost say what he wants because he's just obviously very good at Wolves. So
yeah, I mean, he is gone in the summer.
If he makes the move, he can't do that.
No, I think he's gone.
But no, he will go. He will go 100%.
Just he wants to take the punt on him because it's not Arteta's kind of player.
Yeah,
I've seen him links to Arsenal. I've seen links to Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool will be quite interesting actually.
And then I'm going to move on to Well, actually, I'm going to leave that for last because of the news. So then we'll talk Newcastle 4, Manchester United 1. I hate this world. I had to watch another game of football where Victor Lindelof participated in it, and 8 years that guy has played at this club, and I don't think I've ever seen him put in a challenge. It was the Harvey Barnes goal where Mazraoui slipped, and you just had Lindelof in front of Harvey Barnes and Eriksen desperately trying to catch up with Harvey Barnes. And I was just like, this is Manchester United in 2025 right here. And Lindelof just obviously let him completely through. And, that just epitomised it. Rubbish game, rotated. Shout out Harry Amas for making his full professional debut for the club. Absolutely horrible fixture to have to play for your first.
Poor guy, man.
But he actually played just over 50 minutes, and I thought he
did all right.
He did all right, and it's tough out here. It's really tough to play in this team at the minute. So
Garnacho got a goal, which was nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It was all right, but also
celebration though
annoying.
Yeah, who do you think you are, brother? Like,
yeah, I prefer him just to celebrate with emotion rather than celebrate with like the whole. I've got this point.
For those who didn't see it, what did he do? What was it?
It was like the whole like holding your chin type thing, but it's what other young Lamine Yamal does it.
Yeah.
Desiree Doué at PSG also does it, but these are the 2 best younger players in the world right now. Whereas Garnacho, he has also scored 10 goals this season, and he has now got
all competitions.
Yes, all competitions, and he's also now reached 50. He has scored more goals before the age of 21 than Cristiano Ronaldo did. So that's something to hang your hat on, Alejandro, because if you keep trying to emulate the big boy, it's one way to go about it. But also, it's not that he scored 10 goals. That's brilliant. But he also could have scored 30 this season.
Well, I think going back really quick to the game on Thursday last week against Lyon, it always seems like he makes the wrong decision in the final third. This season, I feel like his decision making has been awful.
His decision making has definitely regressed as he's gotten older, which
that kind of does happen, though. I think sometimes with these young players that do burst on, unless you're Bukayo Saka, who just gets better and better every year. The kind of young players that do just kind of come on, they have that breakout season. Kobe Mainoo's having it as well a bit at the moment. They all kind of stagger slightly, and then it does just happen a bit. I still think there's a good player in Garnacho.
Yeah,
and I think if I'm going to,
I just want him to refine his personality a little bit to understand the magnitude of what's going on, and the situation has been so bad. Let's not go all individual about it. Let's not make it all about me for scoring the goal. Let's just rally. Let's celebrate together.
Let's get the fans.
Let's do that instead of standing there and going for the Instagram picture.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
So it is what it is. And
goalkeeper as well.
Goalkeeper, look, Manchester United managed to sign 2 goalkeepers who both possess the Bozo gene.
Yeah, that's it. It came out about 3 hours before kickoff, didn't it? That Onana wasn't travelling with the United squad.
He got rightfully dropped, and the way that it was phrased is so that he could clear his head. He has also had life problems in his personal life, and that his wife had obviously experienced a robbery.
Yep.
And then he's obviously got all this going on in his professional life. It's a very turbulent time for the man right now. Taking him out for this game was the correct decision to do, which is why I think he'll be restored, because Bayern also didn't particularly cover himself in glory. Exactly. A couple of good saves, but also still culpable for a goal or two.
Yeah, 2 goals, really.
It's not spot on. It's difficult. It's a whole new situation.
Again, I did feel for him a little bit as well, because getting chucked in this Man United team at this point against a good Newcastle side.
Very good Newcastle side.
So it was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, and shout out Newcastle, who have just kicked on post Carabao Cup. Look like they've got a game in hand in the.
It looks like they're going to get Champions League.
They'll get Champions League. Great. Their midfield is electric, mate.
So good.
It's crazy. They are so impressive. They're so.
Tonali's look so good.
Oh, mate, that goal, that Isak
goal
over the top. Tonali first time
volley. I actually forgot about that.
Oh, that was insane.
No, I wasn't a big Tonali guy.
I didn't get it, if that makes sense.
I didn't get it. I thought he was an average passer, an average kind of defender in midfield, an average progressive passer. But this season, kind of since he's come back, he's looked like one of the better kind of sitting midfielders.
Yeah,
because he is kind of a 6, really, isn't he? Would you say?
Yeah, he's what I like just to call a pure midfielder.
Yeah, he's old school kind of.
He's very Italian. Old school. Yeah, he looks very Italian.
He does. And every time I think of him as well, I always think about that first time we played for Newcastle, and after his first game, he ended up going out to a Wetherspoons in Newcastle for dinner. Because I don't know some of the team, or he's seen on Twitter, and like people are giving him recommendations, and he's gone out with, I think it was Mrs. or someone else, come to a Wetherspoons.
Yeah. That's
Newcastle.
Brilliant. Well, speaking of Wetherspoons, the Wolves manager, after their victory against Tottenham, he went out to the local Wetherspoons in Wolverhampton and shared some pints with the fans. I love stuff like that.
It just humanises them,
it's what the game's about, isn't it?
That's it. It just takes away all the kind of corporate stuff there. And it is just football, and it is just everyone that loves football.
100%.
And like, if you went to the pub and your manager was there, and you could just talk to him like a bloke, you appreciate that, don't you?
100%.
You see the interview afterwards, he was asked a few drinks. He was like, yeah,
man, I'll be there.
I was like, yeah, work-life balance, boss.
Absolutely. He's not going over for a glass of wine. He's going to the Spoons in Wolverhampton.
Yeah, he will kind of Doom bar in Wolverhampton.
Absolutely, man. It's a bargain.
It's £1.50 for a pint.
And then, so we'll touch on the final game with the big headline attached to it. So we got Liverpool 2, West Ham 1.
Yeah.
And Cormac, what was the big news that we heard this week?
Mohamed Salah is staying at Liverpool. He has signed an extension finally after all this backwards and forwards all season. And I think we both got to kind of say sorry, because I think we both called it that he wasn't going to stay.
Yeah, 100%. I did think he was going to stay.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. I thought he was gone. But it's such a weird one, because he's clearly showed interest of wanting to stay, and said a few times like, yeah, no, I will. And I don't know how much of it has been genuine and how much of it has been kind of contract negotiations.
Yeah.
But he's got his contract.
I bet it's a great contract.
I don't know. I haven't seen how much he's on, but it's...
I imagine it's really
400.
Good. I would imagine it's around that 400k mark.
Yeah.
And did you see his signing picture where he's dripped out in that £1 million
great
watch?
Picture. Awesome.
And
horrible watch, by the way.
There's a man who's just signed his contract bonus, ladies and gentlemen.
Right,
yeah. So,
but no, huge for Liverpool.
Huge for Liverpool. Good for the league as well.
Great for the league. He's just had that record-breaking season as well now. So most goals and assists in the Premier League season ever of all time. Beating Henry and Haaland, who shared the record.
Wow.
I think, was it 44? You have to pull it up now. Sorry, I just sent it to you. Bear with us as we just consult our producer, which is Taylor's phone.
Well, I have got one stat since the 2020s, Mohamed Salah is the 7th top goal scorer at Old Trafford, including Manchester United players. So...
Well, you've got at least another 2 years of that.
And so he's probably going to overtake Cristiano Ronaldo soon in that list.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, isn't that? It's tough. It's good for the league, though. And what stats have you got pulled up there?
There's a new record for a player in the 38-game season, surpassing Henry and Haaland. Salah is now 15 goal involvements clear of any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues in 24-25.
Wow.
Which is, just ridiculous.
Bro has been chasing that bag this season, and he's finally got his bag. And I don't know how you call him, but I will be here for his Aubameyang post-mega contract season.
All I've seen on Twitter is he's going into his Aubameyang post-contract.
Yeah.
Aubameyang signed his extension at Arsenal in 2020.
That's it. It's due. So
but, I mean, this is huge for Liverpool.
It is.
And they couldn't afford to lose him.
No.
Like financially, because they would have to spend however much money elsewhere to find
100%.
You know, do a Moneyball-esque thing and try and fill up the aggregate.
Yeah, it would have been impossible to replace him, and it would make sense. He looks physically so fine.
Yeah,
he's obviously a top tier athlete, top tier professional.
He's got another few years at this level,
100%.
Still,
and if it's pointless saying it now, but he would have probably stayed in top. Well, he probably would have gone Saudi, but him staying in Liverpool now, I think if they can buy appropriately in the summer, because they obviously do need to buy appropriately. If they sign Isak, for example,
wow.
Because let's just touch on the Liverpool West Ham game. They obviously won 2-1, but the first goal coming from a Salah assist outside of the boot.
Yeah,
fantastic
perfect
goal.
pass to Diaz.
Fantastic pass. You know, that is classic world-class player right there. And then the wonderful, beautiful mix-up between Van Dijk and Robertson, and a beautiful photo of Robertson shouting at Van Dijk, making it 1-1, and then a leader doing what a leader does.
Going up and scoring.
Yeah. Liverpool win 2-1. It's their season, isn't it? I think they're 2 games away from being crowned champions. It's a
Premier League title winning result, though, isn't it? I mean, just mention West Ham and how bad they are, though.
Yeah, they're somehow worse than us.
Just above relegation. Obviously, they're not going to get relegated because the other things are so bad. But Graham Potter's stunk. They've stunk.
I don't think I've watched West Ham for months, but they just seem to have gotten worse.
Every time I watch them as highlights.
And shout out just the bottom 3 for being as bad as they are, because it makes it impossible now for West Ham to get relegated.
Yeah.
But in another world where just even one of the 3 promoted teams managed to put something together.
Same as Wolves, I guess, because Wolves have been awful.
But... Yeah, but Wolves have won their last 4 games or something. Out of the last 6, their form is insane.
Oh, okay, they flipped it around.
Have a gander at this.
Sorry, Wolves, I didn't realise. But West Ham have been abysmal, and they're only going to be worse this summer.
Yeah,
because they're going to lose Jarrod Bowen, who's obviously by far their best player. He's probably going Liverpool, actually.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Well, he just it fits the profile. I think he's kind of what they need as well. Because if Jota goes, Nunez goes, I think that makes a lot of sense. But go on, Wolves' results.
There we go. Wolves 4-2 Tottenham. Wolves beat Ipswich. Wolves beat West Ham. Wolves beat Southampton.
Oh, yeah, but I could beat them.
Oh no, but of course. But that's how that's a good run.
It's true. They have turned it around.
So shout out Wolves.
Yeah, good for the
and that is the Premier League wrap up for this week. Is there any other news you can?
I think that's everything for me. This has been a particularly long episode as well. Apologies,
lots
guys.
to catch up on, lots to talk about, which is what we want at this time of the season. I think we're approaching the penultimate few weeks, and we've all got something to play for. Let's hope that we continue to have something to play for, and we continue to have something to talk about. Because it's all to play for, and it's going to be a really awesome week for football.
Really good week for football.
Either way, and we're going to know a lot more by the weekend when we talk to you next. So, Cormac, sign us off.
Thanks again for those who listen. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, do all that fun stuff. I know there's a few of you watching that aren't subscribed, and what are you doing? We hate you. Please subscribe. Really appreciate that, or rate, or whatever you may be on. I hope you'll all be watching this week, the Champions League and Europa League. All have a great bank holiday weekend, and we'll speak to you next week.
Thank you, guys.